Congrats on a big win Saturday. You guys are now rolling with a 2-0 conference start. With quarterbacks Josh Thomas and Trey Guerrero sidelined with injuries against Northeast Oklahoma, freshman Nathan Greek was able to step in and put up a solid performance. 112 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Kind of tell me a little bit about how big that was for a young guy like him to get a big conference win in his first collegiate start.
Yeah, really happy for Nate. He's worked hard. He's been here in the system. Graduated high school early, so he was here last spring. He was one of those guys. He was, in competition his first fall here to be the guy, and then, ultimately wasn't the guy, and we decided to redshirt him last year. And so we have a lot of confidence in Nate, and it's a long time coming. That's kind of the nature of our level is we're able to bring in a lot of good players every semester. It seems like twice a year there's a lot of turnover. And so his performance was nothing unexpected. That's exactly who he is. He's got some gamer to him. He's very efficient, handles the ball, takes care of the ball, moves the offense down the field. And so, not surprised by his performance and happy for him.
Absolutely, Coach. Kind of, you're speaking about your confidence in him. Kind of, how much more confidence do you think it gives you in him and his confidence just having that first collegiate start under his belt and it being a big win?
I know that's what he's wanted for a long time.
Yeah.
We've had conversations. It's the beauty and the pain of competition is it's a zero-sum game with how many guys that we can play. And, quarterback is one of those positions, if you really, really want to, you can put more than one quarterback on the field. It's not something that's super common. And so it's not like receiver. If you have five receivers, you can go empty and get all those guys on
Yeah.
the field. Really, you got one guy out there really making everything happen. So it was really, really great to get him out there, get him his first start, and to get out, let loose, have fun, be efficient, and do what he does.
Absolutely, that's great stuff. Kind of talk me through a little bit about the side of the ball you play, defense. How big is it for Greek him having just an elite defense behind him, and it's just a defense that's been able to keep you on a lot of games this season. And how much easier does that make his job having an elite defense on the other side of the ball?
A fun part about coaching football is every team adapts its own identity every year, right? And so a big part of my job as the head coach is to find ways to play what I call complementary football. There's always going to be one side of the ball or one facet that's going to be, a little bit out of advantage. You always want, both offense and
Yeah,
defense to be good, but,
that's the goal.
um, right. But sometimes the defensive line is the best position group on the field. And so you want to formulate ways that the defensive line can take over a game per se,
For sure.
right? And with the revolving door that we've had at quarterback so far, we've had to play some complementary football, and especially with the style of defense that NEO plays, we knew that we were going to have to run the ball and we were going to have to play good defense and play complementary football of, hey, let's not put the ball in jeopardy. Let's use field position when we need it. Let's get some 3-and-outs. Let's flip the field and get some short fields to the offense. And when we get those short fields, we're going to have those money plays that we can go to get some points on the board. Now, it doesn't always happen that way. And our offense really was able to come out and drive the field to start. I mean, we opened up the game with a 95-yard touchdown drive with Nathan Greek's first, start
Great way
of
to open
drive
it.
game,
Great way to
right?
start it.
So, and then right after the defense kind of gave up that, initial long drive on ourselves. And so it's really about, playing together as a team. And I am really, really proud of this group, especially the offense, to really answer the bell because we've been challenging them in practice. And so really to be able to hang our hat on them this past game and have them bail us out of not playing good on special teams and not playing great on defense, to have them take over and have some of those drives has been great.
Awesome, awesome. Just a couple weeks ago, you guys were sitting in the locker room after a tough loss to a Georgia Military College. Y'all fell behind 0-2 on the season. You guys now sit at 2-0 in conference play. What can you say about how your guys have been able to not only rally around you, but just rally around each other and kind of flip this season around in a short period of time?
It's been great to see the belief and the trust that this group has, right? A core part of our program is what we call the four-way test. So players trust players, players trust coaches, coaches trust players, and coaches trust coaches. And so that's something that we've really been able to hang our hat on. And it's easy in this level with such a shelf life
Yeah.
and such a small window of having a team together, for them to still have that buy-in and that belief starting slow in the season. And just, one thing that I was harping on is we weren't that far off where we wanted to be. Football is a game of inches, and sometimes it can sound a little bit cliche, but that's the reality. And everybody on this team, everybody in this locker room understands that we have good players on both sides of the ball, and we are
Absolutely.
very capable on both sides of the ball to, have a game where we win 55-50, and have a game where we win, 14-7 or 7-3 or whatever it is. And then there's going to be games where we can put it all together and hopefully widen that margin. And so I've been most impressed with the belief and the response that we've had as a group, as a team.
Yep. So you guys look to start 3-0 in conference play for the first time as you've been head coach at TJC. What just simply will be the mentality going into this big game Saturday?
It's just taking 1 week at a time. One thing that I always start every Monday morning meeting with when I address the team post game is, hey, we are good enough to beat every single team on our schedule. But also, every single team on our schedule is good enough to beat us if we're not preparing the right way during the week. And so that's just the same approach that we're going to have this week. New Mexico Military, they're always very, very good. It's no different this year. There's no easy schedule. There's no game that you look on the schedule and say, oh, yeah, invite the family and invite the in-laws, invite mom and dad to this one because this is going to be the win. Yeah. No, it's one of those conferences where you have to be ready week in and week out to really execute, because if you don't, these teams in these leagues, they'll make you pay for it.
Absolutely, Coach. Coach, I really appreciate your time. Good luck on Saturday. That's all I need from you. You have a great one, okay?
Absolutely. Thanks, Jason.